Tonight, we have a very special guest with us on Friday night. Nduta Mbogori has been living with juvenile onset Parkinson's disease. Now, Parkinson's disease is a brain disorder that causes unintended or uncontrollable movements such as shaking and stiffness. Now, most people with Parkinson's first develop the disease after the age of around 60. And Nduta's case is rare because she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease just about 2 years ago, and she's still fairly young. Tonight, Nduta will be sharing about her journey living with this condition. Nduta, thanks for joining us in studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's begin with, when did you first notice the symptoms that made you suspect that something was amiss?
So in primary school, we had taken a trip. I was probably about 14 or 15. And it was abseiling or rock climbing, something adrenaline-based. It was really fun. So when I got to the top of the rock or whatever it is we were climbing, I started to tremble, kind of like what's beginning to happen right now. But like it was completely like unimaginable. My teacher was like, come down, you're gonna fall down. You know, have you been drinking changa? Like it was intense. It was really intense. But it sort of went away after that. And nobody really paid much mind. But apparently Parkinson's can just start randomly like that, yeah.
Now, just taking you back to our conversation prior to this interview, the shakes were not there. No. And you were, we were just having a conversation. But when we went live, then you started experiencing that. So is there a sort of trigger that makes that happen?
Interestingly, so if there's a fire, I will run like there's nothing wrong. But yes, emotionally, yes, there are a lot of triggers. If I'm anxious, if I'm nervous, if I'm hungry, I guess that's not an emotion, that's a feeling.
Yeah.
Anything really, anything can set it off. If I get startled, if the medication starts to wear off, which I suspect is what's currently happening. But I am excited to be here. That's another thing. So, yeah.
So, talking about symptoms, Nduta, what were your first symptoms and how did that affect your daily life?
So my first symptoms, if I got up to run, because I was pretty young, if I got up to run, there'd be shooting pains in my ankles. My shoulders were always like ridiculously painful, uncomfortable. And then over time, the shakes just sort of became more and more and more intense. And I remember one time I was getting my shoes cleaned and the guy was like, hey, madam, in the hospital. And that's when I was like, okay, wait, for him to notice, that was a bit concerning. So I went to hospital, we did all these tests, and I was so young, they would never have guessed. Parkinson's, they said like essential tremor, they said a lot of different things. And I only got the diagnosis 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, and you say when you first experienced the symptoms, you were younger, but it's only about 2 years ago that they diagnosed this as Parkinson's. How old are you now?
I'm 33 in a couple of days, on the 19th. Yeah.
Now, in terms of doctors and how long it took them to identify that this was Parkinson's. Walk us through that, because perhaps there are people who may be displaying certain symptoms, but when evaluated by doctors, they would never imagine that it's Parkinson's because it is assumed that it manifests for older patients.
One thing, get tested, go see a professional. You might self-diagnose and that's really not helpful. Just go be seen. I think the reason that it took so long for me is largely I was in denial for a really long time, and I thought one day I'll wake up and this will be gone, because there was dissociation in my mind with having a chronic illness, you know what I mean? So accepting that has been probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Yeah, and even for doctors, I think for them to be 100% certain, there's a way you hold your hand, there's some tests you can do and stuff like that, and that's what convinces them. There's blood tests. I mean, I just had one yesterday. I'm constantly being poked and prodded. Yeah, it's not fun, but it has to happen.
Nduta, how has living with Parkinson's affected your daily routine?
So before I started medicating, I mean, this is not even that bad right now. There are days I don't even know how to explain. Like strength is gone, pain is on like 10 million. There are days I would literally be at home alone because I'm very stubborn and on the floor and I can't move. And like my whole body's just saying no, So medicating is definitely something that I would recommend for a lot of people. I think I was also a bit stubborn. I tried a lot of alternative therapies before agreeing to Big Pharma because, a bit of personal information. My mom was ill for a really long time, and I saw her go through medications and all that stuff. And it wasn't something that appealed to me at all. So I tried so many different things, and unfortunately, it's only dopamine that works because it's a deficiency of dopamine.
Let's get into the types of treatments or therapies that you've been using to manage the symptoms.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there that there is no actual cure.
Genuinely, I believe that there is. I just don't think they want to share it yet because that means people are less lucrative, I guess. They can't make as much money. But that's just my
there is no
conspiracy
cure as of now.
theories.
Right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's my conspiracy theories. But yeah, I mean, it's only management of symptoms that they can offer at the moment. I've tried Ayurveda, I've tried Chinese medicine, I've tried African herbs, I've tried massage, I've tried acupuncture, I've tried bioresonance, I've tried massage, I've tried, hypnotherapy and all these other things. And those are like mental therapies are really helpful to just get your mind in the right place because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Just talking about genetics and looking back at the family tree, family line, has this displayed itself anywhere else in the family?
No. But currently, so my mom passed away from lupus and diabetes and a bunch of other complications. So the doctor currently suspects that I might have lupus in my brain, not presenting as it would in the full body. So that's what we're currently testing for. He treats me like a guinea pig, kind of, because he's never seen such a young patient. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what comes up.
Now, you are a young patient, yes, rightly put. So talking about the treatments and the therapies, let's go back to what is currently working for you. You talked about the therapy, the mental therapy, the relaxation techniques and all of that. Yes. But what would you say in terms of medicinal intervention is currently helping with the symptoms?
It has to be prescribed by the doctor first, and it's literally what they call carbidopa-levodopa. So it's dopamine with something that helps it be absorbed well by the body. Because otherwise it can be lost in like your stomach and elsewhere, and it's not taken up in your brain where it's needed. So when if I take my medicine about 40 minutes, I'll stop shaking. And then for about 2-3 hours, I'll be okay, and then it slowly creeps back. So it's literally management. It's not constant,
So 3 hours, you take the medication on a 3-hour?
Right now I'm on 4 doses a day.
4 doses a day.
But I've met patients, like at the support group who are on 18 pills, 20 pills, Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the support group.
Sure.
We're talking about you being a rare case because of your age. What does your support group look like in terms of the ages, the age of the people that are in the support group, and basically what is their experience as well living with this condition?
So,
in this country, in terms of management support?
In terms government-wise, because this is a disability. It's actually recognized as a disability in the country of Kenya. I have my disability card. I never thought I would be disabled in this lifetime, but here we are. Majority of the patients at the support group are way older. There's a couple who are maybe in their 40s, 50s, but the older ones are in wheelchairs. They can't walk around. They have to have carers full-time. They need assistive mobility devices and things like that. Have I answered your question sufficiently?
Yes. So there is a support group.
Yes, there is a support group.
Okay.
It has presence in Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nairobi.
All right.
Yeah.
You chose to come out with your story on social media not too long ago. What was the thinking behind this?
Constantly in my life, I do have a lot of support, and one of my aunties, shout out Auntie Jambi, has been so instrumental, and she's always been like my rock, and she kept saying, tell people your story, you don't know who you're going to impact, you don't know who you're going to inspire. And I heard that from her. I heard it from probably about 40 other people on and off, over the years. And ultimately, I think I was in a space where I wasn't too confident in myself. But now I realize that doubt, or whatever it is, the positivity that can come out of me sharing my story is so much more than the doubt or the negativity that I was apprehensive about. So that was the large motivator.
Just talking about your daily routine and you being very positive and open about this, what are you currently doing? I know you're a creative. I know you are on an ad as a child. I think it was Mumia's.
Yes.
And you've been a creative really for most of your life. Pretty sporty, athletic. Just looking you up and reading about you. So what are you doing currently, and what are the challenges that lie therein as you manage this condition? So
an 8 to 5 right now is out of the question. I stopped working in 2020. COVID time was transformational for a lot of people. But I haven't been able to get my body back to a place where I can confidently say I can sit behind a desk or whatever for a long time. So currently I meditate, I do a lot of yoga, I ground, sit in the grass, feet in the grass. That feels really good. I can actually feel the pain alleviating after like maybe 40 minutes or so. I try to journal when I can. I try to have, positive connections and just keep a positive mindset as much as possible, yeah. But it does get dark. It does get grim. I also understand that everything passes. So even if it might be, tough and tough and tough, it'll pass and something else will come. So to look forward to not even the next thing, but to be present in the moment and understand that it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. Now, as we close, Nduta, many people may not even be aware that Parkinson's affects young people. And so my question to you is, what message would you like to share with young people, such as yourself, who may have been recently diagnosed with juvenile onset Parkinson's? It's not a death sentence. 100% it's not a death sentence. I believe healing is possible. I believe that with the right mindset, with the right support, you can make it through anything, really. And just don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Don't let those intrusive thoughts, those dark thoughts come in. Talk to people, express yourself, tell them how you're feeling. Lean on people if you must. Look for a therapist. You can do it. Yeah.
You can do it.
And finally, what has been the reaction to you coming out and sharing your story?
Man, the love has been overwhelming, and I'm so blessed and so touched. So many people have said, I support you. I'm here to walk this with you. It makes me so emotional, actually. But yeah, the support has been out of this world. I never imagined. I've been in tears. I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I did. Every single day, there's something that's brought me to tears. Someone said, you've inspired me to go through what I'm going through. Someone else said, I don't want to talk about it. I'll cry on national television. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And thank you for sharing your story with us here on Citizen TV's Friday Night. And we look forward to supporting you in your journey, in your future endeavors. And thank you so much once again for finding the time to be here.
Thank you very much for having me. Amazing.